Morning, morning, morning. How's everybody doing? Welcome to Tuesday, 16th January 2024. Hope you guys doing well and we're ready to go for another week of trading. Hope you guys had a nice long weekend, right? You guys got Saturday, Sunday, you got the Monday off. Markets were closed yesterday, so uh, you know, decent little day off there. And now we are back at it again for another week of trading. So we'll see what we get going on today. Uh, Obviously, a lot kind of happened over this weekend in a lot of different stocks and a lot of different things. So yesterday we had the Republican Iowa caucuses and all of that. So Trump won on there, which is basically what we thought would happen. So it looks like we're headed into kind of the same thing of 2020, the same candidates. That looks like where we're headed. We also had some news on Tesla over this weekend about Elon wanting, to get back into 25% control over Tesla. He feels like he wants to get 25% so he can be more innovative and get basically make those products part of Tesla rather than a new company. And that's kind of why we saw this gap down that we saw this morning. Let's take a look at Tesla. So we'll see that this morning Tesla ended up gapping down. Right, we were opening lower. I don't know what's wrong with my charts, acting a little bit slow today again. But you'll see over here, we closed about 220-ish, 219-ish on Friday. This morning, we gapped down. We actually did a pretty good shakeout. Tesla actually shook out a lot of people today. Look at it over here. See this little trend line that we were looking at? Look what it did. It kind of gapped down, peekabooed everybody, right? Peekabooed everybody under this trend line. Look at that. Boom, peekaboo, under the trend line, and then boom, came right back up. So looks like that was a shakeout there on Tesla. I did sort of expect it to bounce in this area because if you go and take a look at the weekly time frame, you'll see that it had a weekly chart trend line coming up over here that also lines up with the 50-period moving average on the weekly as well as the 200-period moving average on the monthly. So I expected that this area is going to be support, and looks like it ended up being support, although it definitely did a little shakeout, as you can see this morning. Right, went below the trend line, started to go lower, and then finally ended up ripping to the upside. So now, I don't expect Tesla as a stock to do a whole lot until earnings. Earnings are coming up on the 24th, which is literally, about a week or two away. So probably not, we're not going to see much until after the earnings come out on Tesla. But at the moment, technically, looks like it's holding the trend line and, looks like it wants to go back up. But, debatable. Debatable. It's a tough stock to really pick because a lot goes on with this thing, right? A lot happens with Tesla. Just like every little tweet can influence what the stock is going to do. So we had a bunch of different things, right? We had so the good news was obviously Model Y is the best-selling car in the planet right now by numbers. But and then we also had a news of seeing that Optimus robot folding up a T-shirt or whatever. So those are good news. But the I guess the concern people had and why it went down this morning was because of what Elon said that if I'm going to make new products part of the company, I want to have at least 25% control over the company. So I need a new compensation plan. So people took that as he's not going to innovate for Tesla. He's going to make products outside of it. So gap down, but then he kind of clarified his comments as well. Though he said, okay, it's more so about getting that control and stuff like that. So most likely after earnings, they're probably board is gonna approve it. So yeah, we'll see what happens. So anyway, so that's Tesla. As far as today is concerned, as a trading day, I didn't really do anything today. Really, I did some stuff on the swing trade side, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But from a day trading perspective, I haven't done anything today. Literally no trades today, 0 day trades. I didn't even do a single scalp, not even a short term day trade. Just been kind of sitting on the sidelines, waiting for things to settle in. So far, what I've done is obviously I'm still holding my MSOS swing trade, right? This is part of the swing trade newsletter. We got into MSOS when it broke this wedge pattern at $7, and we are still in this trade. Got off to a brilliant start. It went as high as $9.05 today. Um, so got off to a pretty good start. And yeah, the trade looks good. No problems there. Still holding it. I still think that it's gonna get to 10 or 14 at some point, but it's not going to go up in a straight line, as just like it went up here, pulled back. Maybe it'll pull back again, but I'm hoping that this thing's going to start getting up there. So I'm still holding all of my MSOS swing trade, still holding it. No changes there on the MSOS. All right, and then I had puts on Meta that I bought on Friday, right? I'm still holding those. Meta's definitely weak today. So those puts are looking good. They're finally in a little profit today. And Meta's definitely weak because look at the cues. The markets are strong. The markets are strong. Markets, are going higher today, trending higher, while Meta's actually staying around the lows pretty weak. So looks like it might want to pull back here. So I'm still holding on to those puts. And we'll see what happens on that. I did buy a little bit aggressive, but I bought puts on Microsoft today. And Nvidia, which I'll talk about in a bit, but definitely aggressive. So Microsoft gapped up again today, continuing to be strong, approaching that $400 level that's been talked about. Definitely one of the strongest stocks out there, no doubt about that. I'm just looking at it being as a short-term extended that maybe want to pull back first. So we'll see. I bought puts on it today. We'll find out. Definitely aggressive because it's strong. And then I also bought small amount of position, very tiny position on Nvidia, right? Small position on puts on Nvidia. Again, very small position. Um, and again, the reason for that I'll talk about in a bit. But definitely aggressive trade because Nvidia is literally the strongest stock in the world right now. So take that for whatever it's worth. I mean, it's super strong. This whole sector has been crazy strong. I mean, look at AMD today, right? Look at AMD. AMD is on fire. Opened up today at 151. Just nothing but going straight up. Literally on a 5-minute chart, all just green candles there, right? Power trend higher. So this whole sector has been extremely, extremely strong. But the reason I bought NVIDIA puts, I'll talk about here, is because, you're up multiple days in a row. So you're definitely extended, right? You're away from the moving averages. Kind of got a little bit ahead of itself today. And then when you zoom out here, you'll see that this little, let me delete these blue lines over here. See this, how this trend line is coming up, the slope in trend line to the upside. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm saying, okay, is this going to turn out to be resistance, this trend line? Maybe we'll get a day or two of pullbacks, right? And then that could be a nice little trade there. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. But let's say, we wake up tomorrow and Nvidia is still above this trend line and continuing to go higher, then yeah, then probably I'm just going to get out and take a loss. But I'm expecting that this trend line will somehow hold and that it might start to pull back from this area. And again, that's kind of what I'm looking for. So I got puts on Nvidia, got puts on Microsoft, got puts on Meta, and we'll see. Yeah, there you go, nice red candle there. As I talk about Microsoft, it's getting a nice red candle there, so that is awesome. And yeah, look at Meta now too. Look at Meta now too. Meta's coming in, putting in some red candles, so that's pretty solid for our puts. And the markets actually are coming in a little bit right over here. So look at the cues. Yeah, look at the Qs. Qs went all the way back up and boop, straight back down into the VWAP. So looking pretty good. I'm thinking maybe I'll hold my Microsoft and I'll hold my Nvidia for a nice profit. But I think if Meta can go down a little bit lower, I might be like, all right, maybe we'll take it today. So we'll see. I got Meta, I got Microsoft, I got Nvidia puts. They're looking good at the moment. But as we know, right, everything looks good until it doesn't. So, but right now we are looking like we're looking decent on here. So we'll see what happens on these. All right. So I got Microsoft, got Meta, got Nvidia. We're looking good at the moment. We'll find out on that. Okay. All of the data I would suggest Cybertruck real world range is 180 to 200 miles, not 400. Yeah, I don't think it ever said 400. You know, the 400 was with a separate thing called a range extender. I think that's a separate add-on that you got to buy. So yeah, I think real world range might be exactly what Jared's posting there. At least that's what Twitter users are saying. It's around 200 miles, somewhere around there, unless you get the range extender, which I don't even know what that is, but it says with an add-on of a range extender, it can get up to 400. So looks like it's a separate battery pack or something you got to put in the back. Um, but yeah, but the case in point is people who are buying Cybertrucks are not really Cybertrucks, kind of like that, the DeLorean. You know what I mean? Like it's a look car. It's a look car. I don't think people are buying it for that. People are buying it. It it's like a nice show car. People love it. That's kind of what it is at this point. Although they came out with this camping gear or whatnot. So I don't know. Again, I don't know. I'm in New York City. We use Ubers here, so you know that's a different story. But yeah, that's kind of what looks sounds about right. All right. So what do we got here? So yeah, again, guys, this year gonna be a very fascinating year. I've said this a few times, but I'm gonna say it again. This is gonna be, I think, again, maybe it's just a dud. Maybe I'm completely wrong, and it's a complete dud of a year, and nothing happens this year. But just based on everything I'm seeing and I'm feeling and I'm looking at, definitely looks like there's gonna a lot gonna happen this year, right? A lot gonna happen this year. We got a lot of potential risks on the horizon. So again, we talked about it in the swing trade newsletter video, but I'll touch upon them here. So there's the few risks, right? So the risks obviously are right now, obviously what's going on with Israel, Palestine, Yemen, the whole Middle East thing that's going on. People almost forgot about Ukraine, Russia now. It's all about the Middle East again. But the Ukraine, Russia still going on. And then we got the Chinese president Xi Jinping. He's starting to talk more and more about Taiwan, how this is going to be the year where they're going to unite the mainland China. So that a lot of rhetoric is coming from over there. And then I think the other day, the Biden administration said that we believe that Taiwan is an integral part of China or something. So I don't know if that was a policy, but seems like a change in policy. So that was one of the risks that are potentially hanging around on our potential area as well. But then the biggest thing, the Middle East one, is the potential of terror, right? The border is wide open. I think 300,000 people crossing the border every day. And there's apparently hundreds of uh, people on the FBI terror watch list that have been found to have entered the United States. So that combined with what's going on in the Middle East could have some potential geopolitical risks for the stock market, in my opinion, in the horizon. Right, a lot of these things factors combined. But we're talking about cutting interest rates again, so the market's like, all right, we're going to stay strong for that. We're going to stay strong for that. So that's kind of where we're at. Apple's been slowing down. I think it was reported over this weekend that Apple, for the first time ever, actually offered discounts on iPhones in China. Right? They've never offered a discount in the United States, I don't think, on iPhones, the new ones. For the first time in China, they discounted the new iPhones, apparently because of weak demand, and we can kind of see that how Apple's been the laggard, how Microsoft and everybody is going up, and Apple's still kind of hanging around here, acting a little bit weak. So, and again, Apple makes up for a lot of the markets, so that's going to be interesting to see. Um, yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Again, it's only the first month of January. It's only January 16th. We got a whole year still to go. But at the moment, it's been a quiet start, I would say, on the swing trading front. Again, we only got one trade at the moment, which is this MSauce, which again is looking good. Hopefully, it'll keep going. I would love to take half profit if we can get somewhere around 10. That would be a good area to take, some of it off. Depends on how we get there, though. So, like, if we gap up tomorrow to like $10, then yeah, maybe I'll be like, all right, let's take most of it off. You know, depends on how we get there. So, all right, Fed chairman speaking at 11. So the 11's already happened, right? So maybe that's what caused that red bar. All right, Unmo, you took the flash pattern on FRO this morning. Could you please comment on the trade? Sure. So you took a flash pattern on MRO this morning. So right over there. Yeah, so FRO looks like it sort of trades like an ADR, right? So the gaps on this thing are hard to be trusted because as you can see on the chart of FRO, this thing pretty much gaps every single day. So it's hard to trust these gaps. So that's why this is more of an ADR, a foreign stock PLC, right, listed on the US market because this thing gaps every day. So because this thing gaps every day, it's hard to trust when it gaps up like that. Is the gap really real or is it gapping because, well, this thing gaps every day? So I think because of that reason, not a huge fan of the flash pattern on this. I would have liked to see much more of a consolidation or a base rather than just buying it on a 1 minute high because it's a tough one. Flashes are better for the bigger stocks. I mean, they work on smaller stocks too, but much less on ADRs to be trusted. Markets better tank because I got four puts for swing. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind. I mean, I got puts too, so I don't mind. But yeah, we'll see. Okay. Um, let's see. Just catching up with your comments. You can drive it all the way to Chicago. Yeah, I don't think you want to go drive to Chicago. You know. But the Cybertruck really cool. Really, what are you saying? Roll call? I don't know what that means. Like nobody buys a Range Rover for its off-road capacity capability. Yeah, I mean that's basically the thing. Like see the companies make money when they sell cars, right? Now, why somebody buys a car, it doesn't really matter. I mean, to the company because they make money when they sell cars. So, like for example, Bentley or Rolls Royce have an SUV, but nobody's really buying that SUV for off roading. It's a looky loo car, and Cybertruck's kind of the same thing. I mean, I think it looks pretty damn cool. Like some people have got it glossed black or matte black or whatever. I mean, I'm like that looks cool. Whether or not it goes the range, because most people, if we're being honest, are not really going like 300-400 miles without stopping. So but anyways, it doesn't really matter. Right now I don't have any big position on Tesla, so I can be a little bit more objective. When I'm back in my full position on Tesla, then I'm going to be like, doesn't matter, still going to go up. But right now I'm in a small position, so it's fine. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Still a lot of demand for the car despite the range, right? Still a huge waiting list for people waiting on it. So, all right, let's see. It's a cult. I don't want to join. That's saying something. Which one you're talking about, Sophia? On the cult part? It's way easier when the enemy doesn't look the same. It's an election year after all. We all have to remember that we need the government to protect us. I wouldn't hold your breath on it for the government protecting you. You know that's why there is the amendment for having your own guns to protect yourself. All right, that's actually one of the reasons I don't. I didn't get a house, and I don't live in a house by myself because then I'm responsible for protecting that house. Whereas when you live in a full service condo building with a doorman and security, you're like, all right, anybody even to come up to the 50th floor, you're gonna need a key card. You got to go through the doorman. All right, security is not mine. I'm gonna be okay. Hopefully, you never know. But anyways, so the markets are starting to look like we're pulling back. Yeah, look at that. Markets coming in. We're trying to break through the VWAP here on the QQQs. So hopefully we'll continue lower. That'll be nice for our puts on Microsoft. Yeah, Microsoft puts are looking good at the moment, and Nvidia puts are also looking pretty decent at the moment. Looks like we're trying to fail at that trend line that I drew. We're right back below that, so hopefully we'll stay below that. And Meta puts are actually looking pretty good too. Hopefully, we'll have more of a downside on those puts. I would like to see some more downside there on the QQQs, on the Meta puts as well. So we'll see what happens as far as these trades are concerned. Um, so yeah, we'll see. And most likely, the meetup that I was talking about, probably gonna do, the meetup that I was talking about um, in April in New York City. So I'm thinking probably towards the end of April. So for the Swing newsletter members and stuff. Um, so you guys, again, I'll send out more information as and when we get closer to that. But likely we're going to be doing it, as I said earlier, previously, as I mentioned, likely going to be doing it at my place in end of April. So just a quick meetup. We'll catch up, get some drinks, get to know each other, and set the goals for this year. And yeah, really map things out. And so that's going to be in end of April at my place. More than welcome to attend and hang out. All right. So again, no day trades for me today, guys, which is a surprise because usually I always have something or at least a scalp on the puts or the calls. Today I'm in the boat of let's just see. It's only the start of the week. Let's just kind of take it slow and then see what happens, right? But and most of the trades were in our swing trades, so we'll see what happens. I wouldn't be surprised because even though the market's pulled back here, I wouldn't hold my breath on them like really just coming down and following through. I mean, this could just be one of those peekaboo red candles, and then we go right back up. Like I wouldn't be surprised to see the markets all the way back up again, even after this red candle. So that's why I'm like, let's just wait because we're still hanging above the red line, the 21 EMA. We're still holding that zone. So I'm not, overly bearish. Although again, I have 3 trades with puts on it, so we'll find out. And yeah, we'll see what goes on. Anmol, you are a propaganda junkie. Define propaganda and which part of it is propaganda. I think I'm a realist. I mean, so far, if you really take a look at my record, based on what we talked about, I mean, things have come true, right? Right before the COVID decline, I mean, it's on video. Right before the COVID decline, I said, guys, technically, based on the charts, I think we're topping out. And again, I don't know what will be the catalyst. I don't know what will cause the decline. I don't know what the black swan is going to be, but there will be a black swan. And I didn't know it was going to be COVID, and people were like, "Oh, you're propaganda," and pew, market just tanked. They're like, "Oh shit, this guy was right," you know. And then here in October too, I was like, "All right, looks like we're back up there again. We're breaking the trend line. We're breaking the moving averages, right? All of this is breaking. We retesting failure." And I said, "This looks like it could get ugly for the markets too. Not sure what's going to cause it, but something's going to cause it." And then boom, markets just dropped 35%. And then again, while the markets dropped 35%, what did we do? We made 45% in the swing trade newsletter. Why? Because we kind of saw this coming. So same way, I'm gonna say this over here. Again, I'm on record saying it again, and you feel free to record it. That between August to November of this year, we're gonna get something's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna be. I gave you a few options. I don't know what's going to be. But until August, I still see us running up. I still see us grinding higher till August. So that's why I'm not being overly bearish right now, because I still see that this 21 EMA, how we're trending up, 50 is still having a nice smooth distance. Typically, you do not get tops like this. Tops do not form like that, and they just don't come straight down. So that's why I still think that the markets are going to probably grind and trend higher until August or November of this year. And then when you start to see these moving averages, either the distance get too close to each other, right? That's when you know something's changing. So keep an eye on that. And the US dollar is going to be the big player for that. The US dollar is going to play a big role, right? Because the dollar has been pulling back since, if you take a look, since November 1st to December 28th, all the dollar index was the dollar was pulling back. So as the dollar is pulling back, the markets usually will go higher, right? So and that's what happened. As the dollar literally pulled back for all of November, all of December, look what happened to the stock market all of November, all of December, right here. First November, boom, markets have been going up. Why? Because the dollar's been going down. But as the dollar starts to get strengthening, starts to get strong again, as you can take a look over here, as the dollar is starting to get strong again, holding this 21 EMA, that's when you see the market started to slow down a little bit, right? Markets are kind of going a lot of back and forth. So that's a big key, because the dollar, if it keeps pushing up and goes back to the highs, that will cause the stock market to come back down. So that's why keep an eye on the dollar, you know, keep an eye on that. All right, Microsoft Target. So the puts debatable right now. A very aggressive trade that I took. I'm not really calling a target, but I'm gonna say, like, if Microsoft comes back down to like yesterday's low, so 384 ish, that would be nice, because that would mean the puts will probably be up $4 or $5, and that's not a bad target to take. And as far as Nvidia is concerned, Nvidia, I would say approx the same thing. Like if it comes down to 530s, that would be a decent target on the swing side. Meta, to be honest, Meta was up like a couple $1,000s right here. That's I'm gonna say, if Meta can come down to like 363, like this prior pivot on the 60, that would be a good target. Although if I get this thing down to even 367 ish today, if I get it today, then I don't mind taking it today. But we'll see. I'm not saying that the government protects us. I'm just saying why they want us to bring conflicts front and center of the news at this time. Yeah, I mean, uh, I think it's just furthering their agendas. That's what governments typically are trying to do. Ollie saying, good job on the swing video. It's a good info, even if you don't make any new calls. Good. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. And yeah, I mean, even if you guys don't swing trade, the weekend videos are definitely good to sort of learn from educational purposes, even if you're not swing trading, for sure. On my birthday, yeah, maybe we'll do it on my birthday. So maybe we'll do it on my birthday, New York City. Let's see. KL, you got Q splits for 55 cents. Awesome. Great job. Yeah, April 23rd. So by that time, Yaroslav's gonna be like Brad Pitt by April, right? Amount of burpees you're gonna be doing for by then, you know, Yaroslav's gonna show up like ripped as a rock. So for those of you who don't know, so Yaroslav was at the live mentorship event in Arizona, and he said that every time he breaks his trading plan, he's going to be doing 100 burpees or 1,000 burpees or something like that. And that's a lot of burpees. I mean, I do 10 burpees and I'm out of breath. So if he's going to be doing 100, I mean, that's a lot. Let's see. Or maybe you did know, just didn't want to tell everybody a lot of people were going to die. I mean, hey, that disease X sounds a bit scary, right? All right, let's see. You said that you cannot add to the position in the trade manager, but I hear you often adding to your position. No, trade manager you can't add to your position, and I don't add. I don't remember the last time I added to a position. So yeah, I don't remember the last time I added to a position. Been more than a year. Then I've added on a day trade. Yeah, look at Dwak. Yeah, DWAC popping up. So yeah, Trump dominated the Republican caucus yesterday, more than half the vote, 50%. And because of that, Truth Social stock DWAC is gapping up and being pretty strong today. I still don't get it. I mean, sure, yeah, Trump's the leader, so let's the stock is popping, but the app doesn't have any future, right? We all know that. We all also know that after the 2020 elections, Trump's not going to care about Truth Social anymore. It's just a insurance policy in case Twitter goes out of whack again, or somebody else comes in and buys it, or Elon doesn't control it anymore. Then he's fearing that he might be blocked. But we all know you'll see right after the election's over in the 2024. Nobody's going to be using this Truth Social app. I mean, so yeah. I mean, in fact, I mean, Rumble is a great company, but even for them, right? Even for them, it's not a great thing. Although Rumble had a nice pop today, you know, the stock has been getting killed. Went as low as 333 on Friday, really weak, and today popping up because apparently Trump's going to win. Um, but man, X is where it's at, right? Twitter's where it's at. So again, I liked companies like Rumble. I never liked Truth Social. I never thought that's have a future. But Rumble had and still might have a very bright future ahead on Rumble. But since Elon bought Twitter, X is where it's at. So that's why Rumble stock is not doing well because Elon's putting in so much attention on video. So again, when you have something as big as Twitter, why do you need to go anywhere else, right? So that's kind of where it's at. But anyways, we got some snow yesterday in New York City. I'm looking outside my window. It's like snow white, completely snowed out here. Anyways, let's see what we got going on. Markets coming back. There you go, guys. I just talked about it literally, 2 minutes ago. That don't be surprised that this is nothing. The markets will come right back up to the highs. Look what happened. Didn't even take a long time. 2, 3 minutes later, markets are holding the VWAP and we're right back up again. Right back up again. That's why it's hard to trust moves in these markets, and you got to temper your enthusiasm, right? Nvidia is trying to come back there. Microsoft, yeah, did the same thing, right? Came back down over here, now coming right back up again. And Meta's still holding really weak, which is a good sign, but that too kind of bounced up a little bit. It was 1,000 burpees, but you haven't broken your plan ever since I found out what 1,000 burpees feels like. There you go. There you go. That's a good consequence, right? That is a good consequence because every time you break your trading plan, you got to do 1,000 burpees, and because of that consequence, you have not broken your trading plan. That's amazing. That's great. That's exactly what we want to see. You know, that's awesome. Hello from Turkey. Hey, Carol, Birber, Tom, Avery, Javier. What's the highest R gains I gained last year in a month? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really keep a track of that. I mean, I probably do in my spreadsheet, but I don't really remember that at the top of my head because I focus on trade by trade basis you know, rather than records like what's the highest I made or lost. I just keep doing what I do. Um, all right, let's see. What do I think about American Airlines for a swing trade? Let's take a look at American Airlines. As a swing trade, I mean, I assume you mean swing long and not a swing short. Well, it's got earnings coming up on the 25th. So I personally, I don't swing trade when close to earnings. Unless it's a long-term investment, then I don't mind. I hold them through the earnings. So long-term investments, I hold them through earnings. But if I'm swing trading something, I don't hold them through earnings just because it's a 50-50 or whether it's going to gap up or down. But based upon the chart, for me to really want to swing trade American Airlines, it's got to get above this recent pivot that it made on the daily chart. So it's got to get above 1470. So this double top. Why? Because see, not only is this a little double top on the daily chart, it's also where the 200 period moving averages are. And then when we go to the weekly chart, it makes a lot more sense because look what we see on the weekly chart. Let me go ahead and delete these lines here, clean the chart up a little bit. So look what we see. This was an uptrend line, right? Uptrend line, holding it, holding it, holding it. Uptrend line break. Now, when uptrend line broken, this area, which was support, became what? Became resistance, right? That's technical analysis. When the support is broken, on the way back up, support becomes resistance. And we can see that. This pivot was support, it broke it. On the way back up, that same trend line, which was support, became resistance. And now we're pulling back off that area. So I would let it pull back. If it wants to pull back, let it pull back. So the way to buy it swing trade without having to be stuck in it as it goes down would be to wait for it to do something like this, where this becomes your, let's say, higher low, right? And then you come back up. So then what you want to do is you want to buy over here, right? That blue line, put your stop loss somewhere around here, whatever that low was. So now that's your risk, and now you're in it, right? And now you're in a good swing trade without having to hold it as it goes down, because now it'll start to go up. So I would wait for it to do that before buying it. Otherwise, you could get stuck in something. Let's say you buy it, and all it does is just follow through on the downside. So we don't want that. So that's kind of what I would say on American Airlines as a swing trade. All right. Let's see. They named a disease after the new Twitter name, right? Isn't that crazy? Um, let's see. You sold the 19th January $10 calls on MSauce. Looks like there's a shot to lose these shares. Yeah, Jason, I actually did the same thing, but not $10. I did the 10.50. So I'm continuing to hold my stock MSOS, and that trade is looking great. We called it at $7. Looks awesome so far. But yeah, I did the same thing. I sold the January 19th $10.50 calls on MSauce. So that basically means, well, 19th is basically this week on Friday. So if by this Friday MSOS is below 10.50, then I get to keep all of my shares and I get the premium that I sold the 10.50 calls for. However, if it goes above 10.50, then yeah, we have to sell it at 10.50. But to be honest with you, I mean, 10.50 is going to be great, especially if you can get it this week, right? That'd be awesome if this week we can get to sell it at 10.50, right? And that's already pretty extended because then we can sell it, and then when it pulls back to like 8 or 9, we can buy it back. So that might not be a bad idea. I hope on Friday my shares get taken away from me at 10.50. That'd be awesome. Unless we gap up to like $15, then it would not be awesome. Then I'll be like, damn it, I missed that trade. All right, so that's kind of where we got. That's kind of where we're at. Obviously, AMD is trying to be the next Nvidia. Look at AMD, this powerhouse of a stock today. All it's done is just gone straight up today, riding this blue line, riding this 90 MA on the 5-minute chart, looking really strong on AMD, trying to be the next Nvidia, super strong. This whole sector has been pretty damn strong, which yeah, maybe they're trying to support Nvidia and AMD to step up just in case, just in case we lose Taiwan Semiconductor to Xi Jinping. Maybe that's the That's the whole idea behind it. But again, we'll see what happens. So, guys, overall, how's everybody doing? How's 2024 been for you guys so far as it relates to trading? For me, I would say 2024 so far has been slow, but I'm not going to complain. I've only taken one swing trade, MSOS, which is looking good. Day trades, yeah, have been positive but slow, and swing trading options have been a lot of back and forth, a lot of profits, but then I'm also in a losing position at the moment. So it's a slow start to 2024 for me. Slow start, but again, it's only 16th of the month of January. We still got a lot of time to go, but a little bit slow start so far. Um, so that's kind of where we're at, you know. But I'm not going to complain, right? The reason I'm not going to complain is because you guys know it. We talk about it all the time. Is that all you got to do is take a step back, right? Take a step back and take a look at your results, and always zoom out, because what happens as traders to our psychology is that we look at ourselves on how, like, today is going, or this trade is going, or this week is going, or this month is going, and we start to judge ourselves based on short-term movement. But if you're going to trade for a living, why are you concerned about how this week went? Like, if you're going to do this for a living for the rest of your life, you have no business being concerned about how today was or how this week was. So that's kind of one of the things. And again, we I showed this earlier. Again, this is not going to be 100%, 100% accurate based upon everybody else, because it all differs. But the as far as the newsletter is concerned, that's kind of where we're at. So that's why it's important to take a step back, because we can zoom in, right on, let's say, this period. We can zoom in and be like, man, it's so choppy. I'm only going back and forth. I make some money, I lose some money, I make some money, I lose some money. Man, I'm not going anywhere, right? I'm only going to go sideways. And when you look at this, you're like, man, yeah, trading's been tough. A lot of back and forth. You're not doing that great, right? And it's easy to be down on ourselves saying, man, I'm not doing that great. But then you zoom out and you're like, oh, okay, I'm actually doing pretty damn well. I'm actually killing it, right? This red line is the S&P 500. You're still hanging around here. We're over here. So yeah, we're doing well. So that's why it's important to zoom out and take a perspective on your actual performance, on how you're doing, and not judge yourself based upon how you're doing today, this week, this month, right? You got to look at it over the long run. Okay. You're enjoying some nice progress in your process and making more than I did before. Awesome, Sophia. Yeah, glad to hear that. Jacob says it's slow, 3 trades this year, but no losers. There you go. Hey, that's good. It's not about the quantity of trades, it's all about the quality of trades. Okay. It's not about the quantity, it's about quality. And I see this all over. You browse through Twitter or you browse through social media, and there's like accounts there that are really popular accounts. They got a lot of followers, but all they do all day long, they're just tweeting about stocks or news. I'm like, when are you actually trading? Right? I mean, there's some accounts on Twitter that claim to be really, really good traders. But I'm like, dude, this you're just tweeting out news, breaking news all day long. Like, you're so active on Twitter. When are you actually taking the trades? You know what I mean? There's this guy on Twitter. He posts everything in all caps, and he has all the analysis on the stock market. I'm like, dude, do you actually trade, or do you just like type news all day? It's crazy, you know. So it's not about the quality of quantity of trades; it's about the quality of trades. I'd rather you guys take, you know, 3 solid trades the whole month, right, than taking 10 mediocre trades or making up trades that don't exist just because you're bored and you want to do something. Right? Don't make up trades just because you're bored, you want to do something, or you see other people trading. So you're like, man, I'm missing out. You don't want to trade on FOMO. You want to sit back. I haven't taken a single trade today as far as day trades are concerned. So I'm perfectly happy to sit back and wait for the right opportunity. It's the blog post that I put out on we put out on the Live Traders blog, which, you guys, if you don't read, you should be reading. Go to blog.livetraders.com. There's some really, really good blog posts out there. And again, you guys have heard me give this analogy all the time, the lion and the gazelle, but it's the same thing. Lions are known, okay? Lions are known for their incredible strength and hunting prowess. Yet they aren't the swiftest of creatures, right? Unlike leopards, which can reach speeds of like 60 miles an hour, lions rely on their power and teamwork for successful hunting, right? So they employ like a patient strategy, waiting in ambush for the slowest and the weakest among their potential prey, right? And this approach is all about playing the odds, just like we do in trading, right? It's all about playing the odds. So whether the lion is pursuing a gazelle or a cheetah chasing a gazelle, the principle remains the same. The most robust creatures in the wild opt for the easiest catch. Why? Because it's the most reliable path to success. Going after the fastest prey is not only energy draining, but it also leaves room for failure. So, again, if you draw a parallel to trading, where your energy is your capital. So, why would you venture into a trade that based on guesswork and lacks a competitive edge? You know, so that's kind of what I'm talking about. And again, I've engaged in these discussions with people about this topic over and over. And I mean, sometimes I just have to walk away from these conversations because, I mean, sure, you might make money on a given day, just like you could potentially find a winning lottery ticket while strolling through the city. But the smarter move is to trade based on your highest probability setups. And these setups can vary from trader to trader. But there are days when the market conditions align perfectly, making trading feel like effortless. It's like, as Jared says, like shooting fish in the barrel, right? But on the other days when it's not the case, it's just wise to stay on the sidelines until the odds are back in your favor. And again, too many traders fail into the trap of setting daily profit goals, which is vastly, different from maintaining a consistent daily average. So keep that in mind, all right? Keep that in mind, especially the insatiable urge among traders, especially the newcomers, to overtrade. And this tendency is the major contributor to the downfall of many trading careers. Ollie, you're up 9 Rs on a six trades this year, 20 trade challenge. There you go. Beautiful, man. That's awesome. 9 R on six trades. That's great. Yeah, great job. No losers so far for Gus. Small amounts, but focusing on the process. Nice. Great job. Yeah. Ollie's up 14 R on 13 trades on the 20 trade challenge. There you go. Man, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. You're killing it. That's a big change. That's a big change, Ollie. Yeah. That feeds your confidence for sure. Feeds your confidence, which is awesome. All right. So Tesla, I mean, in terms of the technical pattern, I like what a Tesla did today. You know, now again, we'll have to wait and see if there's follow through or not. Or the worst thing is, let's say the next few days the market starts to pull back, then that'll throw off Tesla as well. But this is a nice candle on Tesla, how it gaps down and just goes straight up. That's pretty bullish. So I mean, that pattern suggests more upside. But I think to confirm it, we still need to get above 226. Otherwise, you could easily fail here and start to pull back. So I think Tesla definitely needs to get above 226 before anything meaningful can happen on it. All right. Q's coming right back up again. Yeah, Q's are coming right back up as we talked about as well. But again, what I was talking about earlier, the lion and the gazelle, right? The significance of this topic is underscored by the fact that even moderately experienced traders sometimes struggle to grasp it. And there are, in fact, two facets to this issue. One aspect, as I mentioned earlier, involves always seeking the highest probability setups. And the other side of the coin is the ability to step away when the setups aren't present. Like right now, I am filibustering, right? I'm filibustering. I'm not jumping in, right? And I've been doing this 14 years. And I'm not jumping in taking random trades because the opportunity is not there right now. So the fear of missing out plagues even seasoned traders like myself sometimes. It's tempting to remain glued to the screen, hoping to create profit out of thin air. However, in the long run, this approach is detrimental. Most traders find it challenging to step away, fearing they might miss a golden opportunity. But the truth is, what they're more likely to miss are multiple stop outs. It's the truth. So, the undeniable fact, grounded in mathematics and science, is that high probability setups is the key to sustainable success. When you push and scramble to find opportunities, you're setting up yourself for long term losses. Just like the lion targets the weakest prey, traders should focus on the highest probability odds to thrive in the markets. Period. End of story. What do I think about SQ? Wow, that's a lot of stocks, Caesar. That's a lot of stocks. What do I think about SQ, AFRM, RBLX, Lyft? Man, you want me to review all those stocks? All right, sure, I'll do that. But yeah, guys, Thursday, January 18th, Jeff is doing a webinar. Okay. So Thursday, January 18th, which is literally in 2 days, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, Jeff Yates is doing a free webinar on options trading, perfecting your entries. It is free. I'm going to try to post Jeff already posted the link in the chat. Let me post it here as well. So feel free to sign up for that if this is of interest to you. Okay. Using this link, you will be free to attend. Uh, but Jeff, I wouldn't have posted that link. But again, that's fine. That's the direct Zoom link. But I will post it over here as well. So, all right, let's see here. So that's the link. I don't know if it goes on to the live stream, but if you guys can see the link, you can use that. Tune in Thursday, January 18th, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Jeff Yates is going to be doing an options webinar. That's the Zoom link right there. Tune in, join in, do what you got to do. All right. All right, that's that. So, all right, let's take a look. So, SQ. So, SQ, I think, is going to find support anywhere around here between 65 and 60. So, you see how SQ was really strong in October, just crazy strong move October, November, December. And then it had a pullback, which is very natural because nothing goes up in a straight line. So, we got a nice pullback on SQ. I think it's going to find support somewhere between 60 and 65. So, not a bad area if you're looking to buy it. Not a bad area, although it might still have a room to 60. But I do like this stock long term. I think this is not a bad area for this. And I'm going to keep an eye on it. Maybe buy some call options. Here is not bad. I would love 60 though. 62. That'd probably be ideal place for SQ. But another one that I'm really watching is DocuSign. I think DocuSign is a good one to find a way in. And I think this was a good pullback we had in January to buy it. I kind of completely missed it. But I think next pullback or something on DocuSign is buyable long term. Just because look at the monthly chart. Monthly chart is like a stage one, breaking back up into stage two, just like it did over here. So DocuSign, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this year, this stock is probably going to double. So 60 might go back to 120. So potential for a lot of moves there in DocuSign. So I would love to find a way in it. I can't buy it here. It's a little bit up there technically, but if it sits here, consolidates sideways a little bit, then yeah, that might be better. What do I think about AFRM? AFRM, buy now, default later, right? Buy now, default later. That's what they do, right? No, I'm kidding. Buy now, pay later. So buy now, default later, AFRM. Again, AFRM, same thing. A lot of these stocks that got killed in 2023 are trying to come back in 2024, right? But that's what's happening now. The key is, we talk about it. There's something known as the Santa Claus rally that we get in December. Then we get the January effect. So now the thing is, a lot of these stocks, as you can see, they all ran up from December to January. So now it's the moment of truth. Was it just the December Santa Claus rally and January effect? Is that why they went up? right? Or they're actually getting strong. So that's what the moment of truth. We have to still wait and see. Did they all just run up because of that December and January effect, or are they going to continue to go up? So AFRM, same thing. I want to see it pull back to the 50-period moving average, this green line, somewhere around 36, 37. 36, 37, I think it's buyable there. 41, not a big fan. All right. And you guys look at Roblox and Lyft. Roblox, same thing. I never want to buy something that's up in the air. What do I mean when I say up in the air? What I mean when I say up in the air is when they're just kind of hanging around there. So RBLX, I mean, it's at the 50 MA, not bad, but again, I think now in this one, I would say the 200 MA is a better place to buy it. This black line right here. So I would like RBLX in the 37s area to buy it. But again, keep an eye out. All of these got earnings coming up in less than a month, so you don't want to jump in it. And Lyft, I talked about in the Swing Trade newsletter as well. That Lyft, I would like to. The better area to buy it would be the 200-ish or the 50-ish MA area, which it's coming down to, right? It's coming. It's almost down there. So I think Lyft is actually not a bad area. Maybe 20, 30 cents lower, like $12, $12 area. Lyft is not a bad one. Could be interesting. But again, earnings coming up on the 7th. So keep an eye out on that. Okay. Really like this article from the blog, Exercises to Clear Your Negative Mind. Let's see. So this one, well, Cliff maybe have written this one, I think. Right? I think Cliff might have written that up. Yeah, looks like it. Yeah. So that might be Cliff's article. So yeah, Cliff writes great articles. They're much better than the ones that I write. Mine are all over the place. But I think I wrote a good one last week. It was a little bit, I will say, a little bit vulnerable from my side to share something in that article that I did related to my health issue that I had a couple years ago regarding my eyesight, and I was like getting freaked out. So I wrote an article on that, which you can definitely read. But the gist of that was about uncertainty, because in trading, trading is a very uncertain endeavor. So I always ask people, how do you feel about uncertainty, right? So guys, actually type it in. Type it in. Right? How do you personally feel about uncertainty? When you think about uncertainty, what emotions does it stir within you? Right? When you contemplate and really think about uncertainty, what thoughts and feelings arise? Again, feel free to type it in. But when I got into trading, I immersed myself in studying patterns, honed my skills through paper trading. I established, unrealistic expectations like most people do. And I mean, I searched for trading systems that could maybe bring some certainty into the world of trading, because in the first few years when I started trading, the results were all over the place, right? You're making money, you're losing money, you're making some, you're losing money. And even when I even when I turned the corner from a losing trader to becoming a profitable trader, even that, right? Even that was quite uncertain, because some months you're killing it, right? Some months you just made $10,000, $20,000, and some months you made nothing. Some months you maybe lost money. That's uncertainty. So I was like, man, how am I going to make a life when every month is uncertain, right? So, so obviously that was unrealistic expectations. And I searched for trading systems, right? Like we all do, finding trading robots and bullshit like that, and trying to just get some certainty into this uncertain world of trading. You know what I mean? Yeah, so there you go. Yaroslav says uncertainty is also opportunity. Dave says uncertainty freaks him out. Caesar says it brings in doubt, indecision, some fear. Sophia says I used to feel terrified because I always assumed it would be bad, but now I see it could be good too. Absolutely. It's all got a purpose. So you know, um, uncertainty, it's basically what happens is when the real money's on the line, you get anxiety, emotions overwhelm. I felt shaky, I felt fearful, I felt insecure, and uncertainty was a torment, stirring a myriad of emotions, unearthing unresolved issues in my life from the past. I mean, the fight or flight response kicks in, and as if like the voices of my parents from my childhood resurfaced, filled with doubt and disapproval for what I was doing. And I mean, all I wanted to find was an entry point that would just guarantee some certainty. But those nagging emotions, they persist. And what happened, like, a few years ago, during a routine visit to the doctor, I learned that my right eye, right, especially the right eye, it was deteriorating. And I had no prior knowledge of my eye condition. I just thought, oh, I just need to get glasses or something. And naturally, I mean, when I learned about that, I mean, the worst thing to do is you go on Google, right? The worst thing to do is if you ever feel something health related, do not go on Google, guys. I turn on Google and I mean, man, endless abyss of information. And then, the thought crossed my mind, what if something happens? Here I was trading stocks, an uncertain endeavor while grappling with uncertainty about my eyesight. And again, as I spiraled into the dark abyss, my enthusiasm for chart analysis waned, as I believed that each chart I scrutinized, every back test that I did, I was jeopardizing my eyesight. You know, my entire life was overshadowed by uncertainty. It felt as though everything I had worked for, everything I stood, was crumbling right before my eyes, pun intended. Right, each passing day, uncertainty, forcing me to confront my morality. And I always believed I could overcome any challenge. After all, I'm Anmol, and my motto was I could succeed at anything. Yet here I was navigating an uncertain field while grappling with uncertain health issues. I felt as though I was reliving my parents' struggle with their health issues, desperately seeking for uncertainty. But as time passed, I came to the realization that everything happens for a reason. I needed to learn how to cope with uncertainty and establish a system. And as I did, I started taking some proactive measures for my eyes, the acupuncture, electrical stimulation, red light therapy, cryo chamber, blah blah blah, everything, right? Try to just get some sort of a system. And so far my eyes have been pretty good this year. Like, I haven't had those issues that I was having. So last few years it's been good after I established a system to stay healthy, right? So with the system, I could sort of find a little certainty in an uncertain situation, but doubts will still creep in from time to time. So how does this relate to trading? What I'm talking about here? How does this relate to you? Well, life is uncertain. You have no way of knowing. You'll receive a bad diagnosis at a doctor's appointment. Maybe you'll encounter an accident while driving down the street. I mean, you have no certainty about anything. So it's essential to embrace uncertainty. And the only way to do that in trading is by having a trading system. Because what is a trading system? Trading system is our go-to trades that consistently present themselves, right? Trading system, we have our trading plan, entry, stop, target. What am I risking? What am I making? What's my win-loss ratio? So there's a little certainty that comes with having a trading system. When you don't have a trading system, you don't have a trading plan, that's when the real uncertainty really kicks in. So the real question is, when you recognize these trades, do you still act on them or do you continue to hesitate? Just understand there's no certainty in life. And if you struggle to embrace uncertainty, you will find it challenging to navigate trading and ultimately your life as a trader, right? Embrace the uncertainty. I mean, again, life is uncertain, guys. Life is uncertain. Remember David Wygant? Remember David Wygant? That's uncertain. Life is uncertain. Really is. Really is. Yeah. One moment we're on the phone talking about life. We're talking about what he's going to do in his trading career, right? Over the next 5, 10 years, we're making all these plans for the future of what David's trading is going to look like in the next 5 years and how he's so excited and the new things he's learned, he's developed. And guess what happened? 2 days later, he's no more. That's uncertainty. So we got to get comfortable in that uncertainty. All right. Anyways, yeah, this topic suddenly went too much. You know, yeah, trading is all about self development rather than monetary goals. It really is. That was the first thing I wrote in my book, Prepping for Success, right? Which you can even get the audio version on Audible. That's the first thing I wrote in my book. Trading was the biggest personal development journey I've ever embarked on. You learn more about yourself than anything else you've ever done. It'll bring out the best in you. It could also bring out the worst in you if you don't keep it in check. Just take a look at all these people. Remember GME, AMC, GameStop, the Reddit millionaires, the crypto NFT gorilla holding millionaires? Where are they now? Where are they now? I'll tell you where they are. They continue to buy the dip on the NFTs, right? They're still holding their virtual land. They're still holding their virtual yachts on a metaverse, but they're alone in the metaverse because nobody else came, and now they're broke. Hold the line, they said. Hold the line. Meanwhile, everybody else dumped on them, took their profits. The big hedge funds laughed in their face because they always get the last laugh. Because what all they did is they pumped up the price on GME to $400-500, thinking to make the retail trader think that they're winning. Meanwhile, those people are holding the line, buying GME at 500, AMC, because why? It's going to go up forever. Meanwhile, the hedge funds that were long it made a ton of money, sold it all of their shares around 4 or 500, got out, and the retail kept buying it all the way back down to $14. That's just how the game works. That's just how the game works. Anyways, yeah, diamond hands. So, guys, that's kind of where we're at today. So, again, a bit slower trading day today. I'm probably going to call it a day here. Why? Because I don't want to be sitting here and be tempted to take a trade that doesn't exist. I trade quality setups, and I'm not seeing like a super quality setup that I would want to trade today. So I am more than happy to come back tomorrow. Right. So tomorrow I'll be on at 9:05, 9:10 Eastern. I'll be opening the room tomorrow from 9 till like 10:45, and then Jared's going to be coming on after me at 10:45, and that's kind of where we're at. So I'm going to call it a day. Just a quick recap. I'm still holding all of my positions. I still have Microsoft puts, Nvidia puts, Meta puts, and I have stock long on MSOS, which I'm going to keep long, and then that's that. So I'm going to go out and enjoy this snowy day in New York City. It's freezing cold right now outside. At least it looks like it from my window. But that's kind of where we're at. So have a great day, everybody. Let me see if I can show you how it looks outside. I don't know if you can see it, but let's see if you can see it. Yeah, you can kind of see it. There you go. Not really, but yeah, that's well, snow's already melting actually. Now that I look at it, but yeah, that's kind of where we're at. You can see it on that side a lot more snowy, so to speak. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. That's where the 9/11 thingy happened. All right. So take care, everybody. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great trading day.